Namaskaram, the South Indian is here, and as promised, I bring some aspect or the other of the Telangana elections, which is just too close to call almost every day. Today we are going to talk about this, ladies and gentlemen. Telangana parties go all out to woo tribals. What is it? Is it genuine engagement or is it mere optics? We'll find out in a bit. Prime Minister Narendra Modi was in Ranchi today and visited the Bhagwan Birsa Munda Memorial Park and Freedom Fighter Museum and paid floral tribute to tribal activist Birsa Munda.
मेरे परिवारजनों, जनजातीय गौरव और संघर्ष के प्रतीक भगवान बिरसा मुंडा की गाथा हर देशवासी को प्रेरणा से भर देती है। झारखंड का कोना कोना ऐसे ही महान विभूतियों को उनके हौसलों और अनथक प्रयासों से जुड़ा है। तिलका मांझी, सिद्धू कान्हू, चांद भैरव, फूलो जानो, नीलांबर, पीतांबर, जत्रा ताना भगत और अल्बर्ट एक्का जैसे अनेक वीरों ने इस धरती का गौरव बढ़ाया है। अगर हम आजादी के आंदोलन को देखें तो देश का ऐसा कोई कोना नहीं था जहां आदिवासी योद्धाओं ने मोर्चा नहीं लिया।
Even as Modi paid his tributes, one cannot ignore the fact that it's the election season and the tribals can swing votes for any party. Let's not talk about Telangana. That's my main focus today, where they form around approximately 10% of the population, and some of the well-known tribes in Telangana are Gond, Koya, Lambada and Banjara. Also, 12 MLAs and 2 MP seats out of the 119 MLA and 17 MP seats of Telangana are reserved for Adivasis. Let's go party by party, and it's not my intent to actually sit on judgment, but we shall find out during the debate what I said first, genuine engagement or mere optics. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's first talk about the ruling BRS and Chief Minister K. Chandrasekhar Rao or KCR. Almost a year ago, KCR made a declaration that the government would enhance the reservation of the scheduled tribe communities in government jobs from the existing 6% to 10%. He also announced the Girijana Bandhu scheme, similar to the existing Dalita Bandhu scheme, where a capital of 10 lakhs would be provided for the marginalized community for their upliftment. I know what you're thinking. KCR announced the same Girijana Bandhu scheme on Tuesday in Pulakurti, where he said, and I'm going to quote him, he said, Girijana reservations have been increased to 10%, and just like Dalita Bandhu, Girijana Bandhu will be given to landless and the jobless poor. That's what KCR said yet again. I know what it means, but we will come to that later. KCR also promised 100 to 150 houses to the poor, of course, which also included tribals. Now, so far as the Congress is concerned, traditionally the tribals in Telangana always voted for the Congress, but all that changed once the BRS came to the picture. Now, despite a huge battle just now for the chief ministership between Revant Reddy, Batti Vikramakarka, and also the latest being Komti Reddy Venkata Reddy, who says he has the blessings of Sonia Gandhi to occupy the chair, it did give a ticket to a prominent member from the ST community, and that being Sitaka, who's been renominated from the Mulugu constituency, and someone like Revant also said that she could very well be the chief minister. So, that's some kind of an importance and significance that the Congress party has accorded to Sitaka. The party's recent declaration also promised 12% reservation for STs in government procurement and public works contract, 12 lakhs for families and 6 lakhs under the Indramma Pakka House scheme. The BJP. The overall strategy of the BJP meanwhile has been to erase what has traditionally been seen as their anti-tribal policies. Yes, they had an image. No wonder the Prime Minister is really working hard to obliterate that kind of an impression. Therefore, the flagship, the particularly vulnerable tribal groups or PVTGs, which is pegged at 24 1,000 crores. Telangana BJP has also promised 10% reservation for tribals in education, jobs and local body elections if voted to power in the state. Union Minister of Tourism and State BJP President G. Kishan Reddy announced this while he was on a visit to Medaram in Mulugu district to offer prayers to the tribal deities of Samakka and Saraka. And he had said this very, very clearly, and Prime Minister Modi announced the establishment, if you may recall, of a central tribal university in the state named after Samakka and Saraka at the cost of 900 crores.
भारत सरकार मुलुगु जिले में एक सेंट्रल ट्राइबल यूनिवर्सिटी की स्थापना करने जा रहा है। और इस विद्यालय का नाम पूजनीय आदिवासी देवियां समक्का सारक्का के नाम पर रखा जाएगा। समक्का सारक्का सेंट्रल ट्राइबल यूनिवर्सिटी, इस पर 900 करोड़ रुपया खर्च किए जाएंगे। मैं तेलंगाना के लोगों को इस सेंट्रल ट्राइबल यूनिवर्सिटी के लिए बहुत बहुत बधाई देता हूं।
Telangana has 12 ST seats, but BJP, remains a minor player in the state, winning just 1 seat overall, and no ST seats in 2018. The Congress and the ruling Bharat Rashtra Samiti won 5 ST seats each. All that, of course, is in the past. But just by raising reservation for STs, will the tribals of Telangana be pulled out of what is called the marginalized category? Will they have a kind of an equal opportunity when we talk about, and I hate that word, but what to do, lack of any other word, when it comes to mainstream politics? Let's start the debate. The guests who are joining us: Shyam Prasad Meka, spokesperson for the Congress Party; K.S. Prasad, who is a political analyst, is also joining us; Kingshuk Nag, who is a senior journalist, is here; and Suresh Kochatil, who is a political analyst, is also here to speak about the entire issue. My first question is, as always, whenever I've spoken about these declarations made by consecutive parties, about appeasing one group or the other, is the first question goes to Mr. Nag. That while trying to ascertain that every political party, is doing what it is for the tribals, don't you feel that it is just kind of optics and comes up only as a flavor of the season during elections? The backward caste is the flavor of the season, as I see, and the tribals also is taking up a lot of time of Prime Minister Modi, and even other parties are trying to match up. But except for, if you look at pan India, when we talk about Telangana and the tribals, the only person who people here know is Sitaka. I mean, that's also because of her past background. So, Kingshuk Nag, you think this is just optics and there is no serious kind of an effort to bring them into the mainstream?
Elections are all optics. There is nothing very special about it. The parties will try to manifest the interests of certain groups who they think are numerically much more. And after Telangana became a state, tribals have come up. In the sense that tribals were always there, but now they are seen as more important, and therefore a lot of focus is being given on them. And this time, as you know, the elections here in this state will be between the Congress and the TRS. Therefore, the BJP is trying to bring in this, the tribal angle also. I don't think tribals are important, and therefore they are trying to focus on them and trying to show how much more importance is going to be given to them. And that is the only thing I think is the whole thing.
No, but if you read reports, Mr. Nag, of course, you would know better, but then the thing is that they can sway votes in almost 56 constituencies. If you look at minorities, they can swing the votes in around 40 constituencies. So, the importance of a particular community or a group also comes to the fore when they are able to swing votes and they actually matter electorally. So, do you think that despite being able to sway votes in, let's say, 56 constituencies, which is rather huge, which is rather large, why do you feel
that they can sway votes? we are assuming they can sway votes, but nobody has really tried to sway votes in their name in the past in Telangana, and therefore we are making the first attempt to do so. As far as Muslims are concerned, they are very focused in Hyderabad city, and therefore this is a new vote bank, as you can say.
True. It is.
Don't forget that before Telangana became a state, it was a part of Andhra Pradesh, and therefore in Andhra Pradesh, tribals were part of the collective self and possibly not so important. And after Telangana came in, we have to see how important these tribals are. And as such, since Telangana is a sort of tribal state or any other state with no identity, therefore it is felt that maybe they can also play a role. And that is what I think is.
Yeah, if you compare it with Madhya Pradesh, sure, you know, which is also going to elections. But then the point is that every little community, what the BJP is trying to do, much like KCR Garu, you know, is to micromanage communities, and that's why it's important that one looks at tribals and takes them seriously. Let me go to Mr. Prasad. Mr. Prasad, you know, KCR is known to, like I said, micromanage. He has Brahmin Bhavan. You and I have spoken about it many times. He has, you know, what is called different kind of bhavans, Christian bhavan, you know, minorities bhavan. He also has an Adivasi bhavan, as you very well know, considering you follow Telangana politics very, very well. Do you think that whatever, the only thing, Mr. Prasad, that I see is, okay, we will give you reservation of 12%, as if you can just pluck it from some tree and give it to them, serve it on a plate. I mean, all that requires the careful consideration of the judiciary, everyone. I mean, the constitution, you know, the legalese, the aspect of legalese also has to be taken into account. So, do you think it is just a false promise? Let's promise something to them, let's just move on, this will be over. Anyway, the Reddys, they matter, the Kamas matter, the Kapus matter to us, it doesn't matter, let's just say something. And they forget, Mr. Prasad, 56 constituencies is not small. Your comments, sir.
Yeah, good evening, ma'am, and good evening to the
Hi.
panelists, and good evening to the viewers. Thanks for the opportunity, and it's very clear and evident, before elections, people will make their voices according to their whims and fancies. When it comes to manifesto, they feel it is just like a Bible, Quran, or Bhagavad Gita, whatever you name it as. When it comes to the real execution, it's a matter of fact. But before elections, whatever they spell it out, it's just like you know what you said, like plucking a flower from a plant and giving it to somebody's ears. Just like that, you need to think. And apart from this, practical feasibility and the vital role of these tribal people who are really placed in all the constituencies, more than 56 plus, and they play a vital role in the elections and all. Even after 75 years also, the words of promises are, you can't even measure it. It is, sky is the limit for it. But it comes to the real execution, for the dance sake and other things, other than as elections role of this Lambadi segment is nothing. And if you really look into it, there is a university which was promised even after having a MP from our respective place, and there is no voice, and there is no such this thing in the respective Parliament House. But Prime Minister like Narendra Modi, who smartly came into Telangana, and he has reiterated about Telangana University and Tribal University and other things and all. And when it comes to the execution, the budget got sanctioned, and it is they've been fighting between BRS party and as well as BJP for land. Without providing the land, how they can promise the budget? And even after, there is no consideration. Few days before Narendra Modi's last visit, he categorically said in the Nizamabad meeting about tribal university. But there is no situation of that sort.
900 crores. 900 crores, he said. You know, he said that मैं announce करता हूँ या घोषणा करता हूँ and all that. But again, like you said, it's all on paper and it is just to woo them. But you know, somewhere I feel that if political parties, for instance, this is what I'm going to ask Suresh. Suresh, if I can get you, have you on the screen. You know, why is it that traditionally the tribals, you know, they voted for the Congress? Because Congress was monolithic anyway at that time. There were no other, this was a Tina factor. But then we saw that they all moved towards the BRS. You know, slowly and steadily they move towards the BRS. Now, also it is, and that is my next question, which maybe I'll ask Mr. Nag or Shyam Prasad Meka. is that the point is that it's not, no group is monolithic group in this country. It's a misnomer to say that, you know, Christians, they all en masse vote. But what do you think was the reason for their movement from the Congress to the BRS? Was it because of Adivasi Bhavan? Was it because of Girijana scheme, you know, Bandhu scheme and all that? What he said, I'll give you land, you are landless, I need to, you know, kind of strengthen your hands. Just for the benefit of the viewers, Suresh Kochitil.
Well, we need to understand the topography. You did talk about the tribal districts in Telangana. In the undivided Andhra Pradesh, if you look at it, Khammam had a maximum number of scheduled tribes. And if you look at the voting pattern, other things, Adilabad was the district from where Soham Bapurao won the ticket on a BJP ticket last time for the Lok Sabha elections. Now, Adilabad has a huge tribal population also. But when you look at the voting pattern, which you rightly described, why did it go to BRS? Most of the people who won the 2014 elections from the tribal districts were from TDP or Congress, and they defected to TRS, or now called BRS. Now, effectively, that meant that, you know, from that time onwards, the BRS party managed to get a foothold in those areas. Remember, these tribal leaders are very, once they get into the election mode, they will keep winning again and again. So you see, most of them are on the second or the third term right now. So that is how things work. I mean, let us appreciate that fact. Now, if you ask me why they are not voting for the BJP, or how did Soham Bapurao win from, you know, a lot of us were surprised when he won from Adilabad, because he himself never expected to win from there.
Yeah.
But he won, because just 6 months before that, in the assembly elections of 2018, Soham Bapurao lost from one of the constituencies in Adilabad district. Now, if you look at today's scenario, Mahbubabad is a topmost district for the tribals. I mean, having tribals today in the new state of Andhra Pradesh.
Right.
Telangana, which is 37% of the tribals. And then you have the traditional Bhadradri, Kotagudam. Then you have Adilabad, which you just spoke about. Then Kumrambig, Asifabad, another district where there's a huge pub. Then, of course, we have Bhupalapalli, which is now called Jaishankar Bhupalapalli, and Warangal Rural. In fact, the least tribals, you will expect them not to be in Hyderabad. Yes, they are not in Hyderabad because they are least here. Only 1%, I think, is here in Hyderabad. Why would they vote for any other party apart from TRS? It's very simple. They will always vote for the party which gives them something. But remember, the tribals are stuck where they are stuck. If you go to the interior parts of Adilabad, forget the city proper and other things. Even within the city, there's no underground drainage. There's nothing there. So there'll be no development technically to speak of in these areas where we are speaking of. The tribals, what do they have? They have the Girijan Development Corporation, which trades in honey, which trades in soaps, soap nuts and all this kind of stuff. And I've been to places even in Nallamala, for example, where if you go to the Girijan Development Corporation shop within Nallamala, you will find that there are hardly about 10 to 15 products on the shelves.
So that's what I'm asking, Suresh Kochitil, that seems to be like just mere optics, sops, just a kind of almost dog whistling. I'm sorry to be disparaging if I sound like that, my apologies. But then it doesn't seem like any genuine engagement, and I don't understand why, because elections are also about arithmetic. I know that 100 cannot be equated with 30, but then 30 3 times over also makes nearly 100, no? So what is this kind of myopic view of saying that they don't, because if this is the way, they are never going to be part of the mainstream. They are never going to have that social agency or political agency, as it were. So this is a vicious cycle. It will go on and on.
Exactly. Now the tribals, you remember, their expectations are way less. They don't really are not so vociferous as many other communities would. I mean, you take away a percentage of their reservation, they wouldn't even bother about it, because if you really look at tribal reservation jobs in government sector, you will hardly find them in the periphery. There'll be somewhere down the line you will find them being there. They are not in the real mainstream of it. They are, look at the education part of it. Look at any university in Telangana today, particularly in Osmania, you will find tribals again, even if they are there relegated to some hostels where they are specifically targeted and kept separately. So the tribals' expectations are very less. That is a disadvantage with tribals. They don't ask for more. Whatever they get, they're pretty happy with what they get. And that, I think, suits the government of the day very fine, because they know that we don't really have to go overboard in pleasing these people. Give them something, give them the Podu cultivation lands, tell them we will give you more land. Now remember, There is this controversy that is going on about giving land in ST areas,
Exactly.
which has been stayed by the High Court.
Yeah.
Now that is exactly the point. Why are you giving away land in
Yeah,
tribal
that's what
areas
I want to ask
non-tribal?
Shyam. I want to ask Shyam Prasad Meka, because you've given me a very good talking point. Shyam Prasad Meka, hi. Welcome to the debate. I mean, in your declaration, you have announced a lot of things for the tribals, about which has to do with employment, with special SOPs for them. But what Suresh was saying, that again, for every community, when I do it, except for those who are influential like the Reddys, who have both social agency, lots of money to kind of influence decisions, it seems every political party is only. You remember that story, Shyam? I cannot forget, where a tribal pregnant woman, she did not even have a wake. You remember that, no? I mean, I don't know, that really shows. That story went viral, and I felt ashamed, because you feel so helpless. I mean, you don't have to be a woman to feel helpless. Any decent human being will. So tell me something, when they don't have any kind of an agency when it comes to their right to land, a right to any kind of rights, like Suresh said, you make it from 6 to 10, they are okay. You make it from 10 to 12, it's okay. You reduce it from 10 to 6, they are fine. It really doesn't matter to them. Why don't political parties, also yours, do something concrete rather than giving out these SOPs, because it will not matter ultimately, Shyam?
Yeah, Sudha, as far as a society, the political parties are also part of the society. As a society, we need to learn a lot and change our thinking. That is exactly what, at least to some extent, the change I have seen in Congress party is, you look at it, the Land Acquisition Act was brought in by Congress party, where the tribals can have their rights over their land, which is now diluted after the Modi government. Okay, now even in some of these schemes, forget about all of that. You objected and used the term that is called, what is it? Mainstream. Now, one of our learned guests he extended it further and said real mainstream. Who is the mainstream? Who are we? Who are they? I am noting down points here while we are all speaking. We are all not speaking with any ill intent, but this is ingrained in us. One, these tribals, that's the word we had in this discussion. These tribals. Two, give it to them. Three, these tribal people. Four, these tribal leaders. This is our discourse. Now, take a step back. Take your political hat away and talk as human beings. How do you want to build India as a society, right? That is what we need to think. Now, don't come and debate me. I'm telling you, I'm calling out the hypocrisy in all of us. We are engaging in this us versus them. We are not treating everybody as our brothers and sisters as we used to do that pledge in the schools.
Right. So
why did we forget all that?
Yeah, fine. I mean, thank you so much, Shyam. I mean, I think your schooling was required. Thank you very much for doing that, to all of us. Thank you very much for reminding us. But then the point is, considering you represent a political party, then I can turn around and ask you that if you can wear your Angavastram back. Thank you for removing it. I like it. But if you can wear it back, I will ask you that how come your party also gave the maximum number of seats to Reddys? Then you should have given maximum number of seats to those who really need to be standing next to us because they deserve it, because the constitution gives them that right to them.
Yeah, Sudha, that is why, see, that's how Congress party works. That is why people like me are in Congress. We are fighting within Congress to change Congress. Congress is also, just like any other parties, is also having feudal Manuvadi influences within it. We know it. But at least we have a chance to fight it internally in Congress. That's why we Democrats, we are the constitutionalists, are in Congress and are holding Congress accountable.
But I'm so sorry to burst the bubble, but yours also declaration.
Wait. I'm telling you. Congress. I am also Congress. Not Sonia Gandhi, not Revanth Reddy is Congress. I am Congress. That's how we feel. That we have a fighting chance in Congress.
So like Priyanka Vadra said,
have-
will you increase it to 12%, sir? She's made that announcement. Will you? I think it's
False promise. It won't work.
he's come back.
Right.
12% before I go to Kingshuk Nag. Will you do it? Will you walk the talk, or it is just a sop? Think about it. I'll come back to you. Kingshuk Nag, let me come
It's
to
a false
you.
promise.
You said it's a false promise? Priyanka
Yes.
Gandhi Vadra?
No,
You're
I'll tell
saying-
you. I'll tell. No,
Great.
I'll tell you. Yeah. Let it be Priyanka or whoever. The point is, you can't straight away give 12%. There is no provision.
Exactly.
You need to do a lot of other things.
Yeah,
to fix
just
it.
because they are tribals,
That's why-
everyone does it.
Wait.
That's my problem.
That's why Congress is asking for a comprehensive socio-economic caste census in this country.
Sure. And let me go to Kingshuk Nag. Kingshuk Nag, the other problem with tribals in Telangana is that there has always been a growing tension, if you look at it, between the Gonds and the Koya tribes and also the Lambada tribes. You know, the former says that, oh, they have taken the lion's share, they get more out of it. How do you look at it? I mean, there doesn't seem to be any comprehensive, because no community anthropologically can be comprehensive. But the point is that because they need to be, given, rather there has to be affirmative action so far as they are concerned. Do you think one of the major problem is there are major divisions within them?
Yeah, of course, there are major problems where there are major divisions, and we don't even have a comprehensive idea of which tribal is looking for what.
Okay.
We start off with saying that tribals require this, but we are not saying the sub-tribals are requiring how much. The tribal issue has not gained ascendancy in state politics, in this state's politics, because tribals were never taken seriously, because tribals were not there as a force in the past. Now, after 2 elections, now for the first time, tribals are coming up as a major issue.
True.
And as you said only a little while ago, the Muslims are losing their importance in that sense. So now the tribals will come up. So before the tribals can come up, we have to study their problems. We have to figure out which tribals are where and how much they have and how much they should have. But we don't have a clear idea. Only when these things are done can we start looking for how much. Because for the first time, Telangana, as you know, is a very small state. And we don't even know which part of Telangana is where, in that sense. Which tribals live where. So we don't even know the idea. We don't have an idea of.
Who do you mean by we, sir? Who do you mean by we? I mean, do you think we, or as in the politicians? I'm sure the politicians know it. Otherwise, the Congress party or the BJP or the BRS wouldn't have been able to kind of micromanage and say, this is what we are planning to do. I think they know it very well, but I don't think so.
I don't think they know.
All right. Okay. So maybe because they are not important. Maybe that's what you mean. That's what you are saying, that just because they are not a very important group who do not have major social capital or political capital, and therefore they have. Mr. Prasad, let me bring you in. One of the major contentious issues so far as the tribals in Telangana, whom all the political parties are trying to woo with reservations, jobs, things like that, is that Progressive Forest Rights Act of 2006. It was a major step. Of course, a lot of water has flown under the Godavari, Krishna, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana happened, but it's been put on cold storage, and there is nothing much that the KCR government has actually done. And for instance, KCR says that, the pattas would be given to Podu farmers and stuff like that. Do you think that is one of the major reasons that the tribals have remained where they have remained, because of the Forest Rights Act of 2006, which is in cold storage, sir?
Yeah, this is what has been happening from years together since independence. If you really look at it, the point what was raised by a pregnant woman who got this sort of problem and all, even today it is not got even resolved. Even the upliftment has really taken place. A person like Mr. Soyam Babaro, who has happened to be the MP, even after giving a tribal university also, he doesn't even know how to bargain, he doesn't even know how to negotiate it, he doesn't even know how to get the things done. This is what the hypothetical situation and the pathetic situation. According to somebody's tunes, they are playing the dances and for the sake of votes only. If really for the sake of upliftment means the Podu Bhumulu issue, as you uttered about the Forest Act, which is practically possible or feasible. Nobody bothers. For the sake of mouth, they have been delivering these words. And at the end of the day, it is not even rooted to the grasses. And unfortunately, the people who are at the suffering end, they're continuously suffering from 75 years. For the sake of upliftment, all sort of reservations will be given to them, but they don't know how to execute it. If somebody stays in a hill, the school reservations, college reservation, scholarships, everything got announced. But they don't know how to get that student to the college or school or anything. But even after these things are happening, for the northeastern states, if you really look at it, Telangana, one of my panelists has said that even in the greater Hyderabad, 7 districts, this thing also, with lot of tandas. But they are assumed that they are living in cosmopolitan city, metro city, and for the sake of all things will not come into the picture. But when it comes to the reservation for Namka Vasta, they have been given it. But the considerations to the schools and all, there is no upliftment from the government. Podu Bhumulu, it will be given it to them after the elections. God only knows as far as the Forest Act is concerned. Until then, nothing has been done to the Forest Act, nothing can be done.
Right.
That's how the things are.
Yeah. Mr. Suresh Kochitil, if I can get you on the screen right now. Suresh, my whole point is that this Girijana, scheme, that why is KCR kind of repeating it every year? I mean, what's the 2014 we heard it, 2018 we heard it, 2020 we heard it. If you take those speeches that he makes like Adilabad, wherever he goes and he makes those speeches, you can actually cut and paste, sir. As journalist, you can say date change karo yaar, wahi laga do, because it is just the same thing. What is it? Is it that, because I am asking you, because he is actually welfare king, he has done so many stops for different kind of communities. He was very, very disparaging about the Congress's minority declaration, saying they've arrived, they're new kid on the block, so they do not know, I know better. What do you think? KCR doesn't care? KCR doesn't feel that it's important? I mean, he has a welfare ministry as well. What the benefit of the viewers? What do you think is the reason?
The tribals are not the OBCs. That's as simple as that.
Yeah.
The OBC pushback for KCR is pretty evident. And even if you look at the Reddy community, the maximum number of seats they pocketed in every election. That is the idea behind it. See, the problem with the tribals, as I said before, is their expectations are pretty low. So they are taken for granted. And I'm telling you the same thing again. Now we are in 2023, add 5 more years, and 2028 you will hear the same speech again. What is it that the tribals need? They need their produce to be protected. They need good price for the product. I'm telling you, you go to the tribal areas of Telangana and many, and I'm not just faulting Telangana for that matter. Most of the tribals, because they don't get the money for the produce which they give to the Girijan Development Corporation, they sell it to private individuals who pay them pittance. And that is what the main thing is. One success story which I can think of is the Araku coffee that happened. Here was a brand which is literally unknown. But look at the way it has been conceptualized, turned around. There are numerous people who are working with tribals in different. I know a lady called Chaya Nanjappa who works with tribals in the Kodagu district in Mysore, and she runs a very beautiful honey factory, gives them good price. I'm telling you, one of the reasons is if you don't collect honey the proper way in clean cans, it gets adulterated.
Suresh, I'm interjecting you, and my apologies to that. But in a state like MP, they're a larger group, and they matter a lot because, like I said, I don't know why, but 56 constituencies. If you can sway the votes, then of course it's about if you're hanging by fire and you require even 2 votes for you to kind of go towards the winning limit, then obviously you will do whatever it takes to matter. I want to talk about the BJP. The Prime Minister has announced, university. He has announced a lot of other SOPs. Mr. Kishan Reddy has also done. A lot of RSS workers have been working in the tribal areas of Telangana. But the charge is, once again, they are also into divisive, they are trying to divide even the Adivasis. For instance, they think that Ramji Gond and Komaram Bhim, they are saying both of them fought against the Nizams and the colonial powers. They are making out as if they fought against the Nizam and making them out to be almost like Hindu loving Adivasi. So look at the BJP also. It is doing its own little number of politics on the tribals. Would you agree?
Well, the Komram Beam issue is settled. I think there is no dispute on the history part of it. It's already there in the archives. One can dig into it and read it. But they say quite often that if you forget history, you're condemned to repeat it. Okay. Now what's happening? It is just that the Nizam has been substituted by the new Nizams now. And that is it. Simple as that. The tribals are where they are. And that is what I'm trying to say. When you talked about BJP and tribals, I'll give you a good example. How did BJP succeed in dethroning a party like CPM in a state that is filled with tribals like Tripura? It worked 20 to 24 years. I know many of the RSS, Kariwa, Karyakartas, Swayam Sevaks who worked hard in those areas. The Ekal Vidyalayas, for example, is one of the best concepts that the BJP did in those districts. They brought in because they felt, of course, everybody has the right to differ, that there was rampant conversion that was going on in the tribal areas, and RSS needed presence there to break shackles of a government that, a communist government that was there for more than two and a half decades, and bring in BJP. I think Tripura was a classic case. It is a textbook case to understand how tribals react. We there see benefits coming their way. They don't have to be carried on stretchers or on cots for 20 kilometers to reach a hospital or a 108 ambulance. They will. Today, even at this time, after this much of time, you see, go to Adilabad, go to the interior tribal districts, you will not see good roads.
Yeah,
there are no roads.
Exactly. So,
Simple
yeah, absolutely right. So, it is not genuine engagement at all. It just sobs to attract them and then kind of dropping them because they're not required. Shyam Prasad Meka, let me bring you in on this. What Mr. Prasad was talking about, and this is the larger question, Shyam Prasad, that if you enhance reservation for STs, which you said is false promises, very honest of you, it will also impact the BCs in a lot of ways. If you look at the caste matrix, if you look at arithmetic, it is simple arithmetic. We don't have trees growing in this country yet where you can pluck it and say, here, take it 12%, you take 19%, because all of that, and we know that there is a cap by the apex court on it. So, do you think, and considering jiski jitni sankhya, uski utni whatever bhari that Rahul Gandhi keeps talking about, the BCs, in the 2014 when the caste, let's call it informal caste census, which was done in Telangana, the BCs have emerged as the largest group, haven't they? So, across the country, whether you look at Bihar or any other place, how will this work out, Shyam, the balance as it were, between the backward caste and the scheduled tribes?
See, this is all comes from our mindset. There is a dominant mindset in this country, which is run by the dominant 10%. This is all comes from the fact that we think some sort of a reservation is the only solution. So you give a more % of reservation, everything is solved. That's how the so-called mainstream is cheating the actual mainstream. The point here is we need to first understand everybody is as good a citizen as we. This country belongs to everybody. Now, the census, you do the census. Then what will you do? You increase the reservations. Is that the only solution? Is reservations going to make a huge social change? It did to some extent, but not enough. That's not the way. So that's why we need to understand, do the socio-economic survey and see real transfer of power to the people. Now, power is not just symbolically a Congress party or BRS or BJP giving, say, 10 tribals or 20 tribals MLA tickets. What will the MLAs do? They need to go and adapt to the so-called Manwadi culture. This is not enough. We need to really transfer the power and decision making to the people, like not just the MLAs, the voice in the media, the representation in the public spaces, the decision making authority in the administration. Who are the VCs? Who are running the media? Who are the reporters? Who is running the district police? These are the areas where the power will really come to the hands of the people.
I think one thing that the BJP keeps talking about, and which you are is that they have a president. We have a woman president, who is a tribal. And I think that, it is a great thing.
It's a symbolism.
whether it's no symbols work. I want to ask, I've completely run out of time. Mr. Nag, I want to ask you, do you think that if you look at like what Suresh was saying, that the tribals are also looking at what they will get at the end of the day, apart from the affirmative action which is mandated or will be mandated, you know, by the constitution. But the point is, if you look at what they will get as an advantage, do you think that the Congress is on a better wicket, considering it worked in neighboring Karnataka, the 5 guarantees, and they have set 6 guarantees in Telangana. So, do you think they are doing much better today? I don't want to punt on the results, but I just want a last word out of you on this, sir.
I think that all those members who participate in elections, the organizers, they are all become very result oriented. And when I say result oriented, I don't mean whether they'll win or not, but how much money they'll make, etc. And therefore, in what you say, you are quite correct in your assessment that these people look for what they will get, and therefore their interest in elections is much less than what they are genuinely thought to be. So I think you are correct in that sense. But I don't want to say more about this.
Yeah, I've completely run out of time, but I was absolutely right. I think, you know, that this is just, it is not a genuine engagement, but just kind of a sop or just a way to attract the tribals in Telangana. Thank you to all my guests. Mr. Nag, thank you. Suresh, thank you very much. Shyam, it was such a pleasure. And Mr. Prasad, always such a pleasure to have you on my show. Thank you all, gentlemen. Indeed, thank you very much. Everyone sits around and cynically says, oh, politics is a dirty game and all that. But I think Indian politics is very interesting. It makes us smile sometimes, it gets us angry. But like I said, it makes it so interesting. It reads like a novel actually. I am going to tell you a story from Karnataka. Please listen to it very carefully. But first up, a rider. Let me make it very clear that this is all in the realm of speculation. You know, all of us have heard this many times, and one of the reasons touted for power outage is power theft. How lakhs of people in this country steal power and don't pay a penny for using electricity. Like they have the bulbs glowing in their homes, their ACs running, but they don't get an electricity bill because they don't kind of use electricity by paying for it. They are stealing it. It's a menace that many DISCOMs have been unable to actually solve. Now, the latest in this allegation involved a former Chief Minister of Karnataka, H.D. Kumaraswamy. A case has been registered against him for allegedly drawing power illegally to eliminate his JP Nagar residence on Diwali in Bengaluru. Now, H.D. Kumaraswamy did admit to using the services of a private decorator who had tested the lighting by drawing power directly from a nearby electricity pole, and he said that when he became aware of it, he got it removed immediately. You know what Kumaraswamy said? I am quoting him. This matter, he said, came to my attention when I came back home last night. I immediately removed it and connected the electricity from the meter board of the house. This is the reality. There is nothing hidden in this. I am sorry for this indiscretion. Let the BESCOM officials come and inspect and issue a notice. But then a first information report or an FIR in the case was registered by the vigilance wing of the Bengaluru Electricity Supply Company, BESCOM, on charges of electricity theft under section 135 of the Indian Electricity Act. The ruling Congress meanwhile jumped at the opportunity and condemned Kumaraswamy for stealing electricity. The party statement said, and I am quoting it, "You held a press meet and blabbered that Karnataka was in the dark. Now, you are using stolen power to illuminate your home. When your house is shining so brightly, how can you claim that Karnataka is under darkness?" Politics. Deputy Chief Minister D.K. Shivakumar said BESCOM will take action.
I could see in the TV channels that Kumaraswamy and his house was being, they had taken a theft. Someone from his house only had informed the media, and media had reports had come out in the media. So it is the duty of when such a grave mistake has been done. Naturally, my Congress office social media team has tweeted it. They are alert. And I am very happy that Mr. Kumaraswamy has accepted that it is a grave mistake and it is a theft. So naturally the law has to take its own course.
Taken any actions?
No, I don't know. It is left to the BESCOM. BESCOM is independent. The department, power department, they will do. When already he has taken a test, he has agreed that he is going to pay fine. I would like to congratulate him for his acceptance. So I think whatever a big former chief minister who is a big moral, ethical leader of the state has done a great job. I wish him good luck.
Now, there are two aspects to this story. First is politics, and H.D. Kumaraswamy has indeed been criticizing the ruling Congress over many issues and also the power deficit in the state. But this is about a former chief minister, and an allegation is that of power theft. I do understand that Kumaraswamy may not have had an inclination of how and why the power was allegedly stolen. But then, even if you believe that he did not know, then how can anyone within his circle, knowing full well that this is a man who was once ex-chief minister, dare to do this at all? Like, because you want to illuminate your home, you go and take power from an electricity pole outside. Seems very strange, no? But that's how politics is very strange in this country. And with that, the South Indian says, Vanakkam, Namaskaram, take good care of yourself.
They picked my husband. He was tortured there for 2 years. He was enforced disappear.